Good evening.
evening.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Great. I love your backdrop. Is that the Grand Canyon?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yep, that's what I thought. You can send that picture to me. I would like to have that one. I'm
You
always the
got
one
it.
that sends pictures to you. Now you can return the favor. I would like
You
that
got
one.
it. Consider it
Okay.
on its way.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. And welcome everybody to A World Awakening this fine Friday night. It's been quite a week. I know millions and millions of you are in a deep freeze, a polar vortex, unlike has been seen for decades. Having grown up in Rhode Island, I know how cold it can get up there. I'm well aware of how cold it can get up there. But I don't think that in all the years of my life that I lived in Rhode Island, did I ever see temperatures like what they're being hit with now. And so Tony and I both send our well wishes for everyone to stay safe,
Right.
and stay warm. And God forbid you lose your electricity, have an alternate heat source. Most everybody up there does. So,
Yeah.
that's, or neighbors that do. So no one would hesitate to take in others.
Correct.
But it's scary. I mean, it really is. We're suffering some real weather extremes on the planet because she's pissed, and she has every right to be. So anyway, that's not what the show's about.
I don't know if you can hear me, Andrew, but I think your audio just dropped out. Or maybe she dropped out completely. Looks like she might have froze. Well, as we wait for her to reconnect or come back on, she was saying that that's not what the show is about. And we've got some fantastic she's back. She's back.
Sorry, it's going to be one of those nights. It's really wicked cold down here. We've been having all kinds of internet issues. I don't know why. The Spectrum unit that's in town kind of blew up a few days ago. We heard it. We heard it explode. We saw the flash of light. We had no internet for most of the day. They hooked it back up, and it hasn't worked right since. So I apologize. And I know, Tony, please be more vigilant than usual tonight.
You got it.
In terms of being on standby to come in and cover for me until we get this straightened out, because
you got it.
Technology, we can't live with it. We can't live without it. We're kind of between a rock and a hard place with all of this. But
no worries.
Anyway, so I wanted to thank Bill, and I want to take Bill with KGRA, and Tony Rathman, my producer and my co-host. And without further ado, I would love to welcome two friends of mine, Chad and Heather, who I've done a number of events with over the years. And they've got a wonderful event that's coming up in April. It'll be my first event of the year. And so we're going to bring them on and talk about what they do and how they do it.
Hello.
Hi. It's so great to see you both.
It's good to see you.
You look wonderful. Heather, every time I see you, you look more wonderful than the last time that I saw you.
You are one of the sweetest women I've ever met in my life, Andrea. Thank you so much.
Well, I know that you've really focused yourself on, loving yourself and self-care and wanting to be your very best self, which I find extremely inspirational. Not so inspirational that I'll actually do anything to make me better, because that would require some effort and I'm assuming some loss of, I just don't want to deprive myself of a damn thing.
Deprivation is a deterrent, that's for sure.
It is, and so at this point I'm like, yeah, well, we're still kind of in COVID, and I'm still kind of in absentia. I haven't been out on the road for months. I'm up in Georgia taking care of my mom, and I'm up here with my sister Chris, and my sister Cindy lives just down the road. So it's been good. I've been here since December 4th, and I will probably be here until March. So it's a nice respite, and I needed it. How's your winter been? I mean, other than the fact that you live in the frozen tundra, how's your winter been?
It's actually been pretty mild.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen a lot of snow. I had to get the snowblower out once so far this year, knock on wood.
Well, it would have been twice, but we were in Mexico for the first snowfall.
Oh, isn't that convenient?
Yep.
Yeah,
Let it melt on its own.
that's right.
Well, that's marvelous. Where'd you go in Mexico?
It's a little town outside of, I think it's pronounced Mahahual. There's like a cruise port, and the cruise port's called Costa Maya.
Mm-hmm.
The little tourist town there. We stayed in an Airbnb right on the ocean that was, I mean, for lack of a better word, it was like a concrete tent.
Oh, God.
With bedrooms and bathrooms and a little kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. It was like the best 7 days we've had in a long time. Even though it rained 3.5 of the days and we were without power for 2 of them, it was still quite a disconnect, and it felt really good.
Oh, it is. It's so important for us to take time for ourselves and just decompress. I find, it's most people don't. And I thought that when we were at the height of COVID and everybody was stuck at home, working from home, teaching from home, that we would develop, that we had to make a very sudden, very abrupt change to that lifestyle for a pretty extended period of time.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that would stick, and that we would learn to be more mindful about having time for ourselves and being, separated from all the rest of the reality going on around us, and just have time to just think and reflect and, spend time in nature and, take time for ourselves and focus on family, the immediacy of the people around us. And we did that, as a society, we did that for a long period of time. And then it was like everybody just got sick of it all at once and said, no, let's go back to the way things were. Like,
not everybody.
But COVID's not over. It's not gone. I don't know who sent you a news flash that it was gone. It's still here. Oh God, oh my God. I have to wonder, what's going to come of this? Speaking of getting together for a super spreader event, hey, how about that?
Hey.
So tell me, I've been to events that the 2 of you have hosted, and they're always superior. I mean, like over the top, or you make it look easy, like it didn't take any effort at all to pull the whole thing together, and poof, there it is. And I mean, you make it look easy. The last time that I did one of your events was in, I believe, Pontiac,
yes,
Michigan, and at that great theater. Was
the
it a
Flag
theater?
Star Strand?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I lectured with John Tenney, and I mean, we filled the place. It was great. It was wonderful. And we just kind of played off each other and kicked it back and forth. And I just remember when it was over, you coming up to me, and, we just embraced each other, and you were beaming. You were so pleased with how that went and how we got the audience all stirred up, because, it's what we do. And
you guys are a force to be reckoned with, man.
we are. We do kind of, it's like watching a really intense tennis match. I know that. I can even feel it while I'm on the stage. It's like I do my thing and bounce the ball over to him, and then he bounces the ball back over to me, and it's we kind of read each other's minds, and we take off, from a tangent that one leaves, the other one follows. It's really fun, and it's great. And it's nice when it's that spontaneous. There are never any prepared remarks. We just do it. Yes, Lynn,
Thank
it
you,
was.
Lynn.
That was the, I don't know if I showed you guys, but Lynn Ann Bowling and her husband, Jeff, were there with me that weekend. And there were no skylights in the part of the building that we were in. There was no light source other than the tall kind of church-like windows. And I took a picture of Jeff, who was sitting next to me at the table, and it looked like he was being beamed up.
Oh, wow.
I will show you. I will show you. Or Limmy will find the picture and post it in chat or something. I don't know if you can actually do that. But it was at your event that happened. And when I saw the photograph, I'm like, Lynn, look at this. I said, I knew this was magical. I knew this was a magical event. I knew it. It was amazing. It was amazing. So we're going to Holy Toledo this year?
Yes,
Is that
we
what
are
we're
going
doing?
to Holy Toledo.
Okay, excellent. And Lynn and Jeff will be with me, and they will pick me up at the airport, and then they will drop me off at the airport. So consider yourself unencumbered in terms of having to get me around.
Well,
Yes.
Lynn and Jeff, we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But if anything changes, we do have to pick up Jeff Belanger too. So, there will be transportation, and we can.
Oh, God. Oh, you invited Belanger. Oh, my God. Riffraff. There's riffraff.
Oh, yeah. Shenanigans shall ensue.
Shenanigans. Yes. Shall be. Supernatural shenanigans. Yes. He is. He's so funny. He's so witty. He's so delightful. So tell me about, I literally know nothing about this, of what's going to happen, other than I saw that there was a poster of my picture saying that I would be there. I literally don't know anything else. And that's not your fault. I've been a little sidetracked, and
It's okay.
to me, April seems like light years away, which it's not. But why don't you tell me and everyone else listening how awesome an event this will be?
My background's trying to eat me, and it's distracting. I'm sorry.
It's okay. What's trying to eat you?
My background.
Your background. Yes, I see that it is doing that. Yes. I just thought your hair was on fire.
Some days it feels like it is.
Some days it does. Yeah, mine's a little out of control today too. Windy. Oh my God, is it windy here? Oh, I'm so windblown. So okay, let's do this. Let's Chad, you want to start? And then
I can.
okay.
We started Midwest Parafest at the behest of all of our paranormal friends, because we were doing monthly ghost hunts at a yacht club in Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, this building is great. You guys should do your own conference. And we were like, no, we don't want to do that. That's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of work. And we've been around the Paracons, the Parafest for a long time. So we kind of learned how to do it. And we had, some successful years once we started. And this will be our second year at the Oliver House in Toledo, which is right downtown. It is one of the longest standing, never abandoned buildings in the city of Toledo.
Wow.
It's always been something. In addition, it does have, a paranormal history to it. Not that we'll be investigating, but they have like 3 bars, 4 bars, 3 restaurants, and lots of little rooms to congregate in. And the last Midwest Parafest that we did, COVID kind of ruined it. It was still a good turnout. We planned on having you and Chip Coffee come, but because of COVID, you guys couldn't travel, and we had to replace you, and a lot of people canceled their tickets because you guys weren't coming.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
No,
we handled it. We
expected it.
It's fine.
We expected that. Chip is a big draw. You are a big draw. You have a huge following, and we expected that. But regardless, we had a really good event, and it turned out well, and we're going to repeat it this year. And this time, hopefully, you'll get to come.
Oh, I'm coming. If I have to drive, I'm coming. If Lynn and Jeff have to drive to get me and bring me, I'm coming.
All right.
And I can hear her laughing all the way from Michigan right now because she's nodding. Jeff would come get me. I swear to God.
But I know they are the best, and they would do it if we needed them to. And they are so appreciated.
Yep.
So yeah, this will be year 4 for Midwest Parafest. But as far as paranormal conventions go, it'll be number 6 for us.
Okay.
We did years 1, 2, and 3 of Midwest Parafest with the team that we were with before.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, with COVID, people started to spend more time with their families and weren't as, outwardly adventurous. And it really gave us some perspective. We spent a lot of time together and, just talked about a lot of stuff. And we decided we were going to pivot our paranormal adventure. At the time, we were still waiting to hold Midwest Parafest 3, which was postponed 3 times from the original date.
Yep.
And, so we were committed to that. And, we were with the team and we wanted to make sure we carried through that commitment. And we decided after it happened in September of 21 that we were going to just, part ways, no bad blood, no, ill will. We wanted to just do our own thing and just kind of be, Chad likes to call us nomads, just kind of going where
vagabonds.
The adventure. Yeah. I like vagabonds. And so we had decided this. And then in October, Chad took me to dinner at the Whitney in Detroit, which is a 19th century mansion built by a lumber baron that's in pretty impeccable shape considering its age. It's been restored to almost its original finery, and it is a high quality restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there for dinner and had no idea in the slightest that our adventure was going to take a turn that we had no clue to even dream about. So our friends Mark Ortiz and Mark Waynick, who had been the ghost hunters at the Whitney for like 9 years, sat us down, gave us a tour, showed us around, and said, the reason why we wanted to meet with you is because we don't want to do this anymore, and you guys are the people that we would like to pass the torch to. Wow. I mean, like, our jaws were on the floor. We were just completely shocked, honored.
They couldn't have made a better choice.
Well, thank you.
I mean, really, they couldn't have made a better choice.
Thank you. We were nervous.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Whitney. If you look up the Whitney's history, a lot of teams that have investigated there, people who have done the research and investigated the history of the building itself and what it used to be and all the occurrences there will tell you it's one of the most haunted mansions in the entire state.
Awesome.
And we were given the opportunity to take it over as a ghost hunting team, just the two of us, to lead, private hunts.
Wow.
So then we were offered that in October, and we met with the manager and, had to kind of interview with him and let him know what our theories were. Mm-hmm. And then in November, we sat down with the founders of our original team and let them know that we were stepping away. But the Whitney couldn't be announced until January because they were sitting on it for, marketing purposes and things like that.
Sure.
So then in January, they had us host our first paranormal dinner tour, and we did the entire year of 2022. Probably did 15 or so dinner tours. Had a great time. Really got some neat evidence. Enjoy being in the building. We've gotten to a point where we can be in the building alone. They will let us lock in at night and investigate. So that's a good time.
Yeah.
So then for our 1-year anniversary, they celebrated by closing the building down for a Sunday evening privately ticketed, I call it a mini con. It was called the Inquisitive and Curious Paranormal Dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And we packed the house and sold out at 200 tickets.
Wow. Holy cow.
Blew our minds. It blew the manager's mind. He said the ticket sales were unprecedented. So we're pretty proud of that.
We are.
And we can't thank John and Jessica enough, because I'm sure that their followers, their marketing, their people made it what it was. We had tarot readers come in from Maine and one local tarot reader from Ferndale. And then Nick Beauchamp. You've met Nick, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So she wrote a recent book called Haunted Detroit, and it features the Whitney on the cover. And she did some really solid research and investigating. And
yep, I have it.
Yep. And so she was there, and every ticket holder there got a signed copy of her book. So it was an incredible event. And it kind of came out of left field. We weren't expecting it. He told us in October that he wanted to do something. And from October to January, from birth to execution, it was amazing. So.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so delighted.
Thank you.
Well, next time you do a Whitney thing and I'm around in that area, I'll definitely join in.
Oh, we would love to have you there. We would love to. We're looking.
I haven't been. I really want to see the place. I mean, I don't just want to play paranormal with you guys. I want to actually go to this place because I know enough of its history that I know anything can happen. And
so are you open to staying in town a couple days after Toledo? Or are you wanting to fly right back?
April. Let me get with Greta and see what I've got on my itinerary. Okay. But that we might be able to arrange that.
Okay.
We'd
love to take you on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And
Saturday is our Midwest Parafest event that you're coming to.
Yes.
That I'm coming to because there's a poster. There's a poster.
There is.
Yes.
We've been posting it all over the social media. So we're going to do that event on Saturday, April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, April 2nd, we have to do a paranormal dinner tour at the Whitney. So
I think you should probably factor me in since we don't have my flights booked and on all of that yet.
Okay.
So, and what I'll probably do is just fly into Detroit.
Yeah.
And then out of Detroit, and Lynn and Jeff will take care of all of that. So, but yeah, no, I think you should just go ahead. We'll just book this live on the air right now.
Fantastic.
Me there.
Fantastic. It's in ink.
It is.
So Midwest Parafest happening on April 1st it's been a labor of love for us. We definitely like to share that this isn't any kind of lucrative event. We put on our conference because we want to bring people like you to the people who want to learn and connect and network. And honestly, we know that you and Jeff and John and Jessica and Exie and Mark DeWorth, all this is how you make your living. Mm-hmm. Sharing your story and coming to events is your, that's your life. And so we want to give you a successful, exciting event to come to and have a good time and connect with your people. And that's why we do it. We love to bring everybody together.
Well, I'm going to ship my books to Lynn and Jeff. They're going to tote them around in the back of their big ass SUV, and we'll just go from one event to the next event, and we'll just make a glorious weekend out of it. I'm so looking forward to it. You make sure that Tenny and Jessica show up. They got to be there for this.
All right, we'll have dinner. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so the event that is in Toledo at the Oliver House, is that, am I mistaken that this is this the second time you're doing an event there?
At the Oliver House, yes. Yeah. It's our second year there.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I got something right. That's amazing, really, all things considered. And so it's going to be from when to when? It's an all day long event, right?
Yes.
Do I get to talk?
Oh yeah.
Do you get to talk?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the doors open at 9.
Okay.
So people can shop the vendors and wander around. Our first speaker goes on at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Our last speaker ends at 7.
Nope. Our last speaker ends at 5:30.
5:30.
Because Xy's gallery reading is from 6 to 7.
Okay.
Oh, great.
So Xy's doing a gallery reading, which is
awesome.
A separately ticketed event.
Mm-hmm.
People will still be able to shop the vendors while that happens. Most vendors choose to leave. But then following Xy's gallery reading, we're doing a VIP dinner where every table gets one of our speakers, yourself included, to sit down at one of those tables. And
I thought he was going to say we were the centerpiece.
I mean,
Kind of.
technically.
From the head up. The rest of us can be under the table, drill some holes. No,
Yep,
I mean, it'll be, we got a little Beetlejuice thing going on here, right?
Hey, we needed an idea for centerpieces. I think you just nailed it.
I'm looking forward to that. That's great. What's on the menu? Just checking.
So it's called Rockwell's is the restaurant at the Oliver House, the upscale steakhouse. They did a phenomenal beef item last year. They had a vegetarian pasta, and then I think there was fish. We haven't squared that menu away yet.
Okay.
No,
all right. I won't pressure you. No
that's
pressure.
Okay. But it's
still 3 months away. Okay.
It's actually
2. Less than 2.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, see, time flying by.
Mm-hmm. So, but it is a seated dinner. It's not a buffet style. Everyone gets served at the table, and you get your choice of entrees. They give you a little menu at the beginning, and you get your choice of entrees. And it's limited. I think we have less than 50 tickets to sell to the dinner.
Yep.
So it's going to be intimate. There's not a lot of people attending. And then, so all of our speakers get an hour in their presentation. Mm-hmm. And then there's a speaker meet and greet room where only people who have tickets to the event can get in to chat with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. And so we have a vendor room that has like a dozen vendors in it, and that's open to the public. So if you just come to the restaurant to have lunch or dinner, you can wander in, and we do that so that our vendors can, have more exposure. But we know that people spend their money to come to cons to engage with the talent like yourself. And so we wanted to keep that part intimate. Mm-hmm. And so there are 6 of you.
Okay.
John and Jessica are pairing up again. Jeff Belanger, like we said. Mark DeWorth is doing his Bigfoot speaking. He's talking about his cryptid information.
Xy.
And then Xy is speaking and doing her gallery reading.
And then Andrew.
And then you.
Great.
Not in that order.
I don't care what order, as long as I get plugged in and can blah, 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 because there's so much that's happened in the last few years since I've, been with that crowd. There's been just so much that's happened that I'm really looking forward to sharing, especially some of the things that have occurred at the farmhouse where I grew up.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that are blowing my mind. I mean, really blowing my mind. Some of the recent investigations have yielded. So I'll be sharing that with people. Some things that most people don't know out in the general public, the paranormal public, they don't know this stuff. So since you're my first event of the year, I'll be saving it up.
Yay!
Well, and don't you get invited sometimes to some of these paranormal events to go back to the house you grew up in?
Yes.
Even though it's, in the distant past, and there was a time where you weren't even allowed to come back there. Yeah. That now you get invited to special events where you actually investigate with some of the people who've paid to come.
Well, I never really investigate per se. I observe what's going on when other people are investigating there. And that's where some of the things that have happened have come through that have been amazing. In fact, Tim Weisberg and I were there together. Gosh, I don't even remember when. It's all a blur. But I mean, he was blown away. He'd never been to the house. He's like a host of Spooky South Coast, and he's been doing it for at least 20 years, maybe longer. And he had not been to the house, and he was just gobsmacked by what happened in his presence there. And, you know, Tim is very wise, and he's very pragmatic, and he's very not one to be too awfully impressed by it. It takes a lot to get a rise out of, you know, is like, what, you know, and that's what we have going on. It's the whole dynamic of the farm has changed. Have either of you ever been?
No.
It's on our list, that's for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll let you know when I'm going to be there next. And if there is any way to arrange to get you out there, you know, Tenny and Jessica showed up to surprise me on Halloween.
That was incredible.
I almost passed out. I mean, I really did. It was like in a medical emergency. I was, you know, and honestly, I felt like such an idiot because he tapped me on the shoulder and I turned around, and for a split second, I thought, oh my God, there's someone else in the world that looks just like John Tenney. It's because it was John Tenney. It was just, it really, it threw me. It really threw me that, you know, he and Jess would have come all the way from Detroit to spend 4 hours at the farm and turn around and drive back to Boston and fly back to Detroit. Nobody had ever done anything that extraordinary for me. And I was touched to my core. It was wonderful. And a dream come true for me to be able to like take him by the hand and guide him through my childhood home, room by room by room. And I could barely breathe. I was so excited and I was so happy. It was really one of the most splendid events of my life. And I would love to be able to give the two of you the grand tour as well. Introduce you to all my dead friends. It would be so great.
That sounds like the trip of a lifetime.
It does.
Listening to them describe the adventure on their podcast after was just like, man, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when that happened.
Yeah. He almost had to pick me up off the floor. I was. Now I understand where that phrase comes from. I was floored. Now I get it. Now I understand.
Oh my God, that does make sense.
So I think that we should make some magic happen. You know, we need to re-energize this field. We need to refocus and re-energize the field. It feels like we're so scattered. And, you know, Chad, I know exactly what you mean when you say, you know, everything came to a screeching halt, because I was filming at the farm when the prior owners were there. Corey and Jen Hansen just sold it about 6 months ago to Jacqueline Nunez, who she's extraordinary. She's absolutely her energy is so perfect for the farm. It's really creating a very spiritual shift there from my perspective. But you know, I can't even really explain what's happening. All I know is that everything I describe it as the paradigm shift, you know, that COVID was really the jumpstart of the paradigm shift. And I was there on March 11th of 2020, filming an episode of Mysteries Decoded for it's a show on the CW.
Hold on, our dogs are gonna go nuts for 1 second. Sorry.
That's okay. Peanut. Come here. You want to see my friends? Come here, my baby.
Actually, they were way better behaved than I thought they were going to be.
Oh, look
This
at that
is my
one.
baby. This is my sweet baby. This is Peanut Butter Cup.
Hi, Peanut Butter Cup.
Princess Peanut Butter Cup.
Yes.
Here's my baby.
You are a princess. I'm
right,
surrounded by princes. I have three boys, puppies, and then this guy right here, and a cat. He's like the king, I guess.
Oh yeah, the cat is king. I'm presuming you worship the cat, right? You worship the cat.
He can be annoying.
Oh, don't say that too loud, hon, because he'll hear you. And they do speak English. They do. They at least understand it very well. So yeah,
he'll punish me in the morning by waking me up at 5:30.
That's not right.
All right, I have to show you the cat.
Okay, show me the cat.
John.
Oh, it's the cat exploding into flames and fire. And
you can't even see him.
Can't even see it. There you go. Sort of, kind of. Nah, a little bit.
Come here, buddy.
Where is
Tabby. I see a little bit of Tabby.
Where is he?
His face is just floating. Come here, buddy. Oh, okay.
No, he's not having it.
Because he's a cat. And because, they have absolutely no real emotional attachment to us. They only pretend to when they're hungry. That's it. I know. I have cats.
That's true.
But anyway, what I wanted to say to you was that that day when we finished filming, and we already knew COVID was in the country. Everybody knew that, this was potentially going to be bad. But then when I got back to the hotel that evening, my father wasn't feeling well. He had come with me. I hadn't realized that he had already contracted it from the team that was there filming with us, and it hit him like a ton of bricks. I went to my room. I got him in his room. He refused to eat. I know my father is not well if he refuses to eat. I mean, believe me when I tell you. And so he went to lay down, and 15 minutes later, I called him in his room and I said, Dad, the World Health Organization just declared a global pandemic, and we need to get home and stay home. And the next morning, he was running a fever. He was just miserable. Nobody had any masks yet. There was, there were no masks available to, just pick up at Walgreens and go. We went to the airport in Providence, and we were on a flight that the night before had 189 passengers on it. And we were 2 of 24 passengers on that plane going back to Orlando the next morning. And the airport was like a ghost town, no pun intended. And I knew how serious it was going to be. And between March 12th and March 30th, every single event that I had booked for that year canceled for the year.
Yeah, we were booked for April 25th of that year.
Yep. And every single one of them went down. I think I was booked with you for that event. Yes. And gone. No.
So the February before the world shut down, we went to Miami because in my other life, I'm an assistant art director. Mm-hmm. And I was down there from Thursday to Tuesday to scout out artists for our show. And Chad flew down with me. So we were together Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He flew home because he had to be to work on Monday. And then I flew home on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm home. We had slept in the same bed Tuesday night. Wednesday, he calls me from work. He says, I've been hit like a ton of bricks. I don't know what's wrong. I can't get comfortable. I'm shivering, but I'm burning up. And they didn't know, like they weren't really talking about it, right?
Right.
So he comes home early, which never happens, like your dad and eating. If Chad's not at work, something's wrong.
Yeah.
So he comes home. He spends the next 2 days in bed. And then he proceeds to cough for 3 weeks. Like I've never heard him cough before.
Yeah.
And you'll get a chuckle out of this. I said, honey, I think you have what they're talking about, because they just started, bringing it up. And he said, do you hear what they're saying? They're saying that I'm the poster child for death by COVID. Like I'm not active. I sit around all day. I smoke. I drink. If I had COVID, I'd be in the hospital right now. And I was like, okay, like, I guess maybe you don't. And then in July, I contracted it and he didn't get it. And they tested him and he had the antibodies. So we know for sure he had it in February.
I know I picked it up in Michigan in the end of September of 2019, before they even knew that it was in the country. It was already in the country. Yeah. You know, where they're trying to keep all the Chinese people out there, letting all the Western Europeans in. And I got it from a couple that had just flown in from England, and they were both deathly ill. And it was the closest I've ever come to death, is what it was. My doctor had to drain vials and vials of blood. I had a systemic blood infection from it.
Wow.
I didn't know. I mean, they pumped me full of. I looked like the Michelin Man when they were done pumping 2 gallons of fluid that they had mixed all my blood into and then put it back in my body. Essentially washing my blood. They didn't know what it was. It had not been identified yet, and it hadn't manifested as like bronchial pneumonia in me. It didn't go down into my lungs because I think it's afraid to go in my lungs, which is probably true. I wouldn't. But I lost all sense of taste, all sense of smell. Fatigue and exhaustion, they don't even touch it. Yeah. Those words bear no resemblance to how tired I was. I could barely function. And they pumped me full of liquid antibiotics, compazine, so I wouldn't, they washed my blood with what do you call it? Not alcohol, peroxide they put into my blood, because I had so much infection that my doctor got so upset with me. She said, "You are hours away from all your vital organs shutting down. Don't you ever let a sickness go like this again." And she wanted to put me in the hospital. I said, "No can do. I got to get on a plane tomorrow morning and go back to Michigan for 4.5 weeks." I had 10 events scheduled. Yeah. I was lecturing with Jenny like 4 times over, 3-4 weeks, and all kinds of other events that I was doing. I had to be there. I wasn't going to cancel 10 events because I was, on death's door. That's no good excuse.
I mean, we would have understood.
Well, I know, but still, but no, it took about a month for me to, I certainly was not contagious past that point, right. But it took me about a month to get back up on my feet, like to really, well, let me just say that I was staying in Ann Arbor, and I would do an event and then go back to Ann Arbor and sleep for 4 days, and then get up and repack and go and off and do the next event. All I did was sleep and eat occasionally. Not a good way to crash diet, I can tell you that much. No, I lost like 20 pounds in a month. I had no sense of taste or smell. Therefore, food is irrelevant other than that empty thing in the pit of your stomach. But it was really, really, it was bad. It was very, very bad.
I've heard a lot of stories of people who were sick prior to it being announced. Even his stepmom, she had a huge lung-related issue in December of that year. So, and they didn't know what it was. And then in March, we figured it all out.
Yep, so, didn't we all figure it all out? And then just hunker down and pray for a vaccine, which we finally got, and then half the population wouldn't take it. And it's like, oh God, oh my God. So consequently, COVID's never going away. It will just continue to morph into, new stuff, and we'll have to get a vaccine every year, those of us that want to continue living. It was something, but you know what I want to do, because as much time as we've spent together over the years, I've never asked you. I want you to go back. I want to know how both of you connected, and was it the paranormal that brought you together? Was that something that, like Like, what is it? How far back does it go? When did either of you or both of you have your first experience? Take us a little back in history.
Well, I'll let you start with that since you were the first.
Well, as a kid, I always liked watching, the footage of UFOs, over Mexico or whatever. I loved watching Unsolved Mysteries, In Search of. I loved those kinds of shows. And when they kind of fizzled out and the ghost hunting shows came on, I was intrigued. And I met a person who knew some people who had their own paranormal team. Now, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, some of those ghost shows were on, and I had watched them, and I saw some evidence that they showed us on TV that at the very least was intriguing, somewhat believable. It sparked my interest. Mm-hmm. So I joined a paranormal team. I was the team skeptic. Mm-hmm. I always was, but not always as negative as when I started. And I started a new job working downtown Detroit, and a couple of years later, I met her.
So I had a couple of paranormal experiences as a young adult. I think I was 17 when the most significant ones happened. My ex-husband's grandparents' home had stories upon stories. I'd still love to go back and explore it, but there are some issues there. But I saw I saw two apparitions in the basement. But then
at the same time?
No, but probably a couple weeks apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they were two completely different apparitions in the same room.
That was my next question. Yep.
Yeah. I've never been frozen with fear like I was when I saw them. They definitely had a hold on me mentally. But fortunately, I shook them off, and we moved out of the house shortly thereafter. And then, we got married and we had kids, and he had a really deep fear of all things paranormal. So I joke that it was like Fight Club. We didn't talk about it in our house. Mm-hmm. And then in 2014, I'm installing an art show on the Detroit riverfront, and I meet this guy. He's my gatekeeper, literally. Like, I need a key. I need a golf cart. Can you let me in this spot so I can put this sculpture up? And he's pretty cool. And then we chatted a bit, and I did some research and found him on Facebook.
Stalker.
And that's how I grow my following. I don't know about you, but he turned to his son one day and said, "She found me." And I got a cute little nickname out of that, which we talked about on the other podcast we did. It was just funny. And so he was talking about Shawshank, Ohio State Reformatory. I went there for the first time last May. Yeah.
So he and the team had been there cleaning and investigating. Mm-hmm. You want to tell that part?
Yeah, it was one of the last volunteer cleanup weekends just before their opening weekend. So the general public and paranormal teams, anybody could sign up to go to Mansfield Reformatory. You show up Friday by 5:00, right? You stay the night, you get up Saturday morning, you are assigned an area to clean. Mm-hmm. You might be wiping down staircases and all the spindles, all of that. And then Saturday night, you get to explore and investigate. And Sunday, you wake up and they send you on your way. So we went to that. But of course, because we're ghost hunters, we took all of our equipment. Mm-hmm. So you've got to listen to the voice recorders. You got to go through the video. And I had posted something on social media. And once she found me, she read this, that I had to spend probably 8 hours sitting in my apartment by myself watching 4 cameras worth of video from this investigation weekend.
So I popped in his inbox and I said, Is it better if you have a second set of eyes? Is it like easier if you have somebody with you? And he said, did you just invite yourself over to my house? So our first date was my first time ever reviewing paranormal evidence. We spent about 15 minutes watching the cameras, and then we literally spent 15 hours talking about everything. And then we spent the next like 4 to 6 months going, I don't want to like you so much. Yeah. Like, what are you doing tomorrow? Never mind. I don't want to hang out. Like we were trying to not, we had no idea that the universe had completely other plans for us. Yeah. We've been together 9 years this year, and never in a million years could we have imagined what we have. We feel very blessed. Well, I do. I don't know about him.
You are.
She had no idea that there was such a class of weirdos out there until I introduced her to the paranormal team, and we went to the Stanley Hotel for our very first Strange Escapes event. That's where she first met Tenny and Robert Murch and Chip Coffey and all these people. And I totally immersed her into the paranormal weirdness and high strangeness. And it's where she's most comfortable.
I never knew. I mean, I had no idea what the paranormal community was. And I've never felt more comfortable in a space as I did at that very first convention. And being somebody who works for an event production company, you know, it just feels like a really wonderful, natural collision of the best parts of my life.
Well, and it really is, you know, I mean, I have opened many a lecture with something akin to, you know, the people in this field, the paranormal people are the happiest people I know. And the happiest people I know are obsessed with death. You know? But really, it's not that though. It's not really an obsession with death, and it's much more, I think, an obsession with verifying that there is some form of an afterlife.
Right. What comes next, and can we get those questions answered before we get there?
Right.
I think it's just an obsession with connection to our history. I think we just want to feel that tie, to close those gaps, to experience things that, you know, aren't explainable. We want to explain them, but at the end of the day, you know, we've talked at length about how it doesn't matter what your picture is, what your EVP is. It doesn't matter what you caught on camera. A ghost could come smack somebody in the face, and there's going to be somebody who says, "That's garbage."
Yeah, that's not real. That's CGI. Oh, you made that up. And unfortunately, and you know, it's a fact. I've seen it too much in the 12 plus years that I've been doing this. The field, as much as it's filled with, you know, lovely, joyful, kind, enlightened people, is also, there's an element of this field that is that eats its own young. It's a self-devouring beast, and I don't get that. I mean, if you don't have to put something out into the general public to have it trashed. All you got to do is put it on any given paranormal page, and somebody will trash it. And the other thing that I don't understand about this field, and I want Tony to come back in and talk about this too, because he's got his own team. And, you know, I just want to know if we have like experiences. But what I have found, and Tony, I want you to speak to this as well. What I have found is that there's, you know, an awful lot of teams that when they do get something really extraordinary, they don't want to share it. Right. It's like all mine. It's all mine. And it's ours. And, you know, we did this. And, you know, and I don't know if it's from fear of having that evidence undermined or from within the field, or if they feel that it's just something they need to hang on so that eventually they'll have a compilation of evidence that's so strong that it speaks for itself. I don't understand the rationale about that, but it seems to me that whenever anybody captures anything, a Class A EVP or anything extraordinary, I want to find the nearest mountaintop and scream it. Look what we got. Oh my God, this is so great. And it's the same thing with UFOs. I put my photographs out there. I don't care what anybody says about anything. And the way that I look at it is anybody that wants to, try to pick apart what I'm doing and the work that I'm sharing is usually afraid that I'm telling the truth. And it's going to fracture their belief system. And, there are trolls out in the world that will literally go from one paranormal site to the next, to the next, to the next, just to be mean, just to leave remarks and say things that are deliberately meant to undermine what people are doing. And I think that that's fear-based behavior. What do you think about that, Tony? And what's been your experience with your team about that?
Well, I can tell you just from the community itself in the past probably 8 or 10 years, it has gotten ugly on some fronts. But I'll tell you from my own personal opinion that the biggest problem is not the sharing of evidence. It's not even people that try to dismiss it or bash it. The biggest problem is personal egos. And that is what causes 99.999% of the problems. The people that you're referring to, that it's not that they don't want to share their evidence. They don't want to let out where they caught it for fear that other investigators will come in and match it or be able to put something out similar. I mean, it gets to the point where they even try to protect locations from other groups going to.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's become insanity, but it's all ego-based. And that is my personal biggest concern, because no one's going to figure this out on their own. And only through the collection of other people's evidence can some answers start to fall into place. You get a piece of the puzzle from this group or this group or this group, and it starts to form a picture or create some scientific theory that might be able to be applied to push the field forward. But egos stand in the way of that every time, and that's the biggest frustration for me.
Yeah, we've actually had some experience with that. Like, we've been fortunate to have 2 locations, one under the previous team that we were with, and then the Whitney, where we are the ghost hunters for the building. Like, we are the host ghost hunters for the building. And unfortunately, we've experienced some people trying to undermine what we were doing. And it was never that we didn't want other teams coming in, because at our original location, we had the first season of ghost hunts was nothing but other paranormal teams. Like, you had to be a seasoned paranormal investigator to come in that first season, because we wanted you to have that authentic chance to capture, to confirm, to debunk, whatever it was. We wanted it all to be authentic. And
and that's the thing. Our very first investigation at that location, we got so much evidence, it was unreal to me. And before we opened it up to the public to pay to come in and do it, we wanted our friends, because we're in Michigan, we're friends with a lot of the other teams, and they urged us to do our first paranormal conference there. We had these people come in and back up what evidence we had captured, just to see that it wasn't just us getting it.
Right.
You know, we wanted to share with those people. We wanted their different opinions. You know, everybody has different kinds of equipment and styles of investigating. And we brought these people in, you know, just to validate what we had gotten.
And we had incredible collaboration with people, but then unfortunately there were people that came in and they contacted the manager and kind of tried to sidestep, and it was really unfortunate, and we were frustrated with it. So there's a balance, right? Because it may come off like we don't want anybody else around, but we're just protecting the integrity of the places that we've been tasked with protecting. You know, it's our space that the manager and the staff trust us to vet people who are coming through, because they don't want their reputation as a haunted location to be damaged. So, you know, it's I don't know. I don't want to say like we're not gatekeepers by any stretch of the imagination. We want to work with anybody who wants to work with us. The ego part, though, Tony, that you were speaking to, like, it's unfortunate because it causes some people to not want to collaborate. They
exactly
themselves.
Yeah, and that's definitely one, like I said before, one of the biggest problems, because no single individual is going to figure any of this out on their own. It's impossible. But you're absolutely right. I mean, we used to run for about 3.5, 4 years the old Phelps Dodge Hospital in Ajo, Arizona, which, you know, Ghost Adventures have been there, Destination Fear was there. But we'd have people that would come in, spend 6 or 8 hours investigating, maybe not get any activity, and then the social media posts would just fly. You know, this place isn't haunted. That, you know, and I know so many other places that would experience that as well. Well, paranormal activity doesn't happen on command. You know, it happens when it wants to happen, and you don't have any control over that. So, are you going to have groups that may not experience much of anything? Yeah. Does that mean that the location doesn't have activity? No, but you know, there's so many variables that, you know, if they didn't get anything, they're going to tell the world that there's nothing there when the next group comes in a week later and shows all sorts of stuff. But you know, you can't control that. And
then that group that didn't get anything will say that the next group that did, that Correct. It's all faked.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
But no, you know, I'm sorry.
No,
the bottom line is, and I heard you say this in the beginning, is that, you know, you have to just dismiss those people, because, you know, there was a saying that, you know, somebody could have lost their car keys and have Bigfoot literally hand them their keys, and they still wouldn't believe that that existence is there.
Right.
And I always love that saying, because, you know, for somebody who believes, you can show them almost anything and they'll be like, okay, yeah, that was great. And then you've got other people that it doesn't matter what you show them, you're never going to convince them. And then getting that set in your mind, knowing that there's a certain group of the population that you're not going to change their perspective. So we gave up on trying to do that years and years and years ago.
Yeah, I think that you just have to get to a point where you just don't care what other people say. You know, I mean, unfortunately, I felt that there were a number of groups in the last probably 4 years or so that went through the farmhouse that exploited it and that made a mockery of it. And that was very upsetting to me, because I cannot help it. That was my home, and I loved it. I grew up there, and I feel very, very protective of it. And I've seen things on YouTube where I just want to hunt down the people that put that out there. No, and it's to me, it's grotesque. You know, there were some BuzzFeed guys that went there a couple of years ago that were hopping around on the floor wearing fuzzy kitty ears, saying they heard there was a ghost dog they were trying to get to attack the cats. You know, first of all, what universe are you from, and why are you given a driver's license when you still act like you're 5 years old? You know, I mean, I have not gone after a lot of, you know, I pretty much like to fly above the radar, as Tony well knows. It's like, oh no, I have nothing to do with that, but I went after them publicly.
You're not the only one.
Yes, I know I'm not the only one. And I went after them so publicly that their show went off the air.
Wow. Good for you.
You know, and I wasn't trying to, I mean, they damaged their own reputations.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was trashing their reputation, which was questionable at best in the first place.
Correct.
But it makes me so angry. And you know, I did an episode there of Ghost Adventures that I wish that I hadn't done because I was not made aware of who else was going to be involved with that episode. And there was one individual who will remain nameless because I don't want to choke on the name, and I would, who decided to pretend to be possessed. Worst acting job I ever saw in my entire life. And as far as I was concerned, his behavior made just a mockery of my mother's pain. My mother almost died in that house the night of the seance that was foisted upon them by the Warrens. You know, my father to this day, you can't forgive himself for what happened in that house that night, not only between Dad and Ed Warren, which was very, very ugly. But, you know, my mother's life was in jeopardy that night because of a medium that didn't know what she was doing and a priest that was incapable of interceding. And the Warrens, they were in over their heads. And Mrs. Warren told me so in so many words. 40 years later, she remembered every single detail of what happened that night in that house. And we talked about it at length when we were together out in California about 3 months prior to the opening of The Conjuring. And she had regrets because she said, you know, they had no idea what they were walking into in that house. Well, you know, I don't care what anybody's opinion is of the Warrens or of Our True Story. All I can tell you is that most people who go and spend time in that house are slammed by the energy in that house and are slammed with what exists around them as they walk into what I've always described as a portal cleverly disguised as a farmhouse. It is an extraordinary energy. And, you know, I look back, 50 plus years later, after we moved in. I'm 64 now, and we moved in when I was 12. And it completely, utterly altered the trajectory of my life growing up in that kind of an environment. Tony, when was your first paranormal experience? How old were you?
Well, I had a bunch of them that I can remember, but until my wife converted me literally by showing me proof, I dismissed them. I mean, like I said, my father being a physicist and chemistry instructor and everything being scientific, paranormal didn't fall into that. I mean, I remember this weird fog, me seeing it crawl up the steps one night. But of course, I dismissed it because I'm like, okay, I'm seeing things. There was nothing there. But now I look back and go, okay, I didn't. So I was probably maybe 14, 15, somewhere in that age range when I saw things. And I remember one of the first houses I ever rented when I was probably 19 when I went off to college. There was an attic and something ran across the attic floor because I was sitting in the kitchen. I literally could follow it as it ran across, and then it slammed the window. Well, I went up there. There was nothing up there. So what that was, I have no idea. So experiences happen, but I dismissed them. Now I totally look at them differently. But
yeah. Well, I'm of the school of thought that we all get dragged into this because of experiences that we've had as youngsters that we might not even necessarily recall, but that something happens to us at an early age that kind of turns a light switch on in our snaps some synapses, like there's more to the universe than we think that we know, and
Right.
that draws us in. And that's how, I'm basically asking Chad and Heather, how far back does your fascination go? What prompted you to be drawn into this field, to devote as much time and attention and resources and energy as you do to bringing this community together the way that you do, investigating together? I mean, it really, to me, it's a calling. To me, it is, and I spent 40 years of my life just trying to move on and ignore what happened to me as a kid growing up in that house and what I saw. But it did fundamentally change who I was. And I was in my late 40s when that bell went off in my head and said, you better tell this story. You better tell what happened to your family. And my mother even said, this is not the kind of story that one should rightfully take to the grave. If we experienced it, then it's our responsibility to share it. And
Wow.
I don't think she ever said any truer words than that. I devoted 7 years of my life to writing the trilogy because, literally to the exclusion of all else other than cooking dinner and, stuff like that. But because I was compelled to share it, and I didn't know how it would be received. And honestly, I didn't know there was a paranormal community for it to be received into. That's how out of the loop I was.
And then when you found it, it just blew your mind, right?
Yeah, well, I just don't want to be with any other people that, are. And, anybody that's serious in this field knows the ball is always in their court. Spirit decides when they want to manifest and how they want to and who they want to connect with. And in that respect, they're absolutely no different than the galactic family. Mm-hmm. The ball is always in their court, and they decide when it's time and how they're going to show themselves and to whom they want to show themselves. But I cannot help but feel that when we all get to the other side, we're going to understand then why we were chosen now on this plane of action to communicate and then share what we communicated. I think personally it takes a lot of courage to share your experiences when you're always taking the risk that you will be dismissed or chastised or belittled or, in some way talked down to, treated as. People are terrified of being rejected. People are terrified of being rejected across the board. I'm not talking just paranormal about anything. That's it, because it hurts so much, even if you internalize that and you never verbalize how you've been impacted by someone else's unkindness or lack of, personal generosity of spirit. I don't read reviews of any of my documentaries or any of my books. And, most of them are really good. All my books have 4 and 5 star reviews, in bulk. But occasionally, if you start going through, occasionally you'll come across one where, the devil's gonna, you've just, oh my God, the devil's gonna eat you up and you're a demon and oh my God. And it's like, fuck off and die. I cannot help it. That is my attitude. It just is. I don't care. I don't care.
Well,
and care.
There are those people that may be new to the paranormal. They may be new to investigating or whatever, that are afraid to put any evidence out there because they don't want to be ridiculed. But then there's the rest of us who don't give a shit.
Yep.
Right. And,
in that camp,
maybe I'm not going to put my stuff out there because I don't want you to knock it. I'm going to hold on to it for myself. But I put some of my stuff out there just to show people that it is there. They will communicate with us, whether it's, ETs, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's ghost, because yes, I've never been on a, Squatch hunt. I've never gone out to the desert to look for UFOs. It's easier to ghost hunt, but I would
You don't have to go to the desert. They're flying right over your house.
I believe that, but I live next to an airport, so
it's a little hard.
Well,
it's hard.
But that's where to see the best ones, because they hang around the airports. I'm telling you, they hang around the airports. Some of the very best footage. There was a United flight. Oh God, it was in Chicago back in the 70s. I mean, there were so many. It was, oh my God, it was some of the very best film footage and photographs that had ever been taken of a vessel right over the airport. It was wonderful. But yeah, they have a tendency, and where they really hang out is Denver. They really hang out around the Denver airport because there's a whole city built underneath the Denver airport. Do you know about this, Tony? There's this whole city and military. It's and part of that's why it's the whole Denver airport is also a storm and tornado shelter, because
Correct.
you can go down underground.
Correct. Wow.
And some of the best sightings I've ever had were near the Denver airport. So don't let that dissuade you, my darling.
Honey, did you hear that? We have to spend more time at the airport.
Let's spend more time at the airport.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. When I get out to the event in Holy Toledo, I will take the two of you out and give you some top-notch personal introductions. How's that?
I love that. Did you hear about the Airbnb that we're putting our speakers up in for the event? Did Greta share it with you?
No, I just figured when I got there would be a bed, a bathroom, and a TV somewhere for me. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
It's better than that.
So in Toledo, there's a bed and breakfast that is called the Casey Pomeroy House.
Uh-huh.
And they have, I think, 4 rooms. Technically, they can rent out 4 rooms to, the general public. And we've booked the house for the weekend.
Yeah.
So you guys will have your rooms and it'll be private. So it's not the hotel. You can decompress at the end of the day at the giant kitchen island. Another birthday for me. He keeps knocking my birthdays out of the park. He took me there for my birthday this past October, and he rented the best room in the house, and we show up, and the innkeep was incredible. And he handed us the keys and he said, so there was supposed to be one other couple here this weekend and they're not coming. So you have the entire place to yourself.
Sweet.
It was amazing. Amazing.
So now we've booked the entire house for the weekend, Friday night and Saturday night, and only the speakers will be there.
And we'll be there
us,
too.
Unfortunately, we'll be there too. So you got to put up with us. But
no hardship at all. No hardship at all.
And the best part is we're only a couple of blocks away from the actual event. So it's a quick drive because, Tenny doesn't like to get up early. So
you think?
Even if he gets up late, 5 minutes before he has to be there, he'll still be there on time.
I know. He's amazing. He's all magical and shit. I know. Oh God.
So I wanted to share something with you. I don't know if you remember this incident, but we were at Paracon,
Michigan Paracon,
and it was the August before my Pontiac event.
Uh-huh.
And I stood in line in your, fangirl line and waited my turn, and I brought you my flyers for the event so you could have something to share.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I would have recorded myself afterwards telling the exact details of it. But you said to me that there was somebody with me, but there was an issue with the name. And you were like, there's a woman and she's here, but the last name's not quite right. And I thought that you were talking about somebody from my ex-husband's family.
Oh.
And so I was like, I'm going to have to go step aside and ask him if everybody's okay. You know, we have 4 kids together. We still have to communicate. So that's what I thought. So I go find Chad and I'm like, Andrea just said there's somebody with me and she can't quite put her finger on who it is. And I think it's from Jeff's family because the last name's not quite right. And he reminded me that though my married name is Hansen, and thank God it won't be that for much longer. My married name is Hansen, but my mother's married name is Hansen. Mm-hmm. And she had only passed in February of that year. You blew my mind. Like, I couldn't wait to tell you, and I haven't had a chance to really share it with you since. But it was like you would have no way of knowing that?
No, I had no way of knowing that.
You know, it's like people try to debunk mediums and psychics all the time. And I had those couple of paranormal experiences as a 17-year-old. But as a member of the paranormal community, I've had more medium type experiences. And I've never sat for a reading. I've had at least 3 instances where somebody has approached me and said something to me that they had no way of knowing anything about, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew, of course, I posted about my mom on my social media. But to think that you would take time out of your life and the things that you're doing to stalk my social media and know my mom's name and then remember who I was standing in front of you at that table at that time to be able to share that, there was no way. I was blown away that you knew that my mom was with me, and it just touched me.
It was such, I do remember that. And I remember the energy when we embraced each other. It was like being, at least for me, I'll only speak for myself, but when I first embraced you and I felt her so close, it was such a strong presence, and I felt like I was being submerged into warm drawn butter. It was just like a melding. Remember? We didn't really let go of each other for a while,
your hugs are the most warm embraces ever. You just warm drawn butter makes perfect sense. We could just melt into each other. It's incredible.
But when I first met you, I knew that I would know you for the rest of my life. And not only that, I had a moment of recognition with you that I had somehow known you before. And that doesn't happen all the time. I mean, it rarely happens that I meet somebody that I have this instantaneous connection with and this instantaneous love for.
Thank you.
Instantly. It's there. It's as permanent as the rising and setting sun. It's just, I just loved you immediately. And I felt her presence was so strong. And, I do not bill myself as a psychic or a medium or anything. I don't have any Post-it notes on me of, I'm this or I'm not that, or, I don't, because I think that all of us are everything, all wrapped up into one thing, that, we all have the ability to connect like that, on a spiritual level. And I think that most meaningful communication between people is telepathic in nature, especially when I've seen you and Chad talk to each other without opening your mouths from across the room. I've seen it. I saw it in Pontiac. I saw it.
They do that a lot.
We I tell them all the time, if we could bottle what we have,
what you've got, you'd be multimillionaires.
We would be. never even knew that this kind of a connection was possible.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's been very, very lucky. I've been very lucky. And the feelings that you describe about me are completely mutual. I just felt cemented to you from the moment we met. So.
Well, we'll be together in 2 months.
Less than 2 months.
And now we're extending my visit. I hope Greta's paying attention. I got to send her.
Yeah, she said something about possibly trying to come, and if you tell her that you're going to have dinner at the Whitney on Sunday, she may try harder.
Oh, that would be great. Oh my God. Well, I call her Greta the Great for a reason. Mm-hmm. Because she's Greta the Great. She's the greatest Greta of all time.
She's phenomenal.
She is phenomenal in every sense of that word. So I think that we should make a whole weekend of it. I have never been to downtown Detroit. I've only seen it from a distance. No, I went with Tenny one time. He put me in his van and took me to Channel 5 downtown. I think we were kind of near downtown. We had to do a morning TV show where you should have seen it. I said something a little off color and they had already seated us on the set and we'd all been, wired all up and everything. And he kind of got me going in the green room, because he does inspire me to speak off the cuff. And I said something on the set that was, probably not really appropriate. But I thought I was just saying it to him. And he leaned over and he just put his hand on my knee and he said, "Hot mic, Annie." And then everybody in the studio started laughing. So I knew they all heard it.
Oh, man.
Like, oh, shit.
Well, we will definitely spend some time. Chad is actually the senior security supervisor on the Detroit Riverfront.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's his home away from home. He sees that river more than he sees me.
So you thought you were just setting up an art thing on the riverfront and you met the love of your life because you needed a key.
It just, yeah. I mean, it just happened. I mean, I made him cupcakes and I brought him dinner and then I found him on Facebook. I did have
And then you invited yourself to his apartment.
And I did, yes. At his apartment at the end of the woods, the last apartment on the left. That's how it was described to me. And he had said that watching camera footage was like watching paint dry. So our first date was me driving all the way to the woods to the last apartment on the left to watch paint dry. It was the best first date I've ever had. And the last first date.
Yep. Yeah. And something tells me that will have been the last first date of your life.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I would really like an invitation to the wedding.
We would love to have you.
I'm even a minister. I could actually marry you. Although Tenny's a minister too. He can marry you in Michigan probably easier than I could, paperwork and stuff. So,
Funny story about that. When we first saw Tenny in Colorado, he was still of the mindset that he was never getting married again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, meh, I mean, it didn't work the first time. I'm really not worried about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I found out that Tenny was a minister. And I said, if we were to ever get married, and he's like, whatever, go say whatever you want to say because it's not happening. I said, I would love for John Tenny to marry us. Mm-hmm. So when he finally proposed in June, we went to the UFO con in Houghton Lake. And Tenny was there. I was there. Yeah. Yes, and I said,
raising the roof. Yep.
I said, you have to go ask Tenny. Mm-hmm. Like you have to ask him. So he came back and he said, I never thought I'd be asking a man to marry me. And Fortunately, Tenny accepted, so we are ecstatic that he'll be the one putting us together.
Marvelous.
Who's going to marry you?
My kids in the background teasing me. We did say though that at the wedding, because we have so many good friends who have offered that we might line you all up at the front of the room and give you each a portion of the vows in the ceremony, and then just, we'll have the biggest conglomerate of ordained ministers presiding over our wedding.
Yeah, well, chip coffee too, because when Mark and Michelle Munsell got married, John and I stood up for them as maid of honor and best man, and Chip is the one that did the ceremony. And there were more ministers on that stage that night than there were, actual married couple. It was wild. It was great. It was great. We had a wonderful time. Yeah, I really do think that paranormal people, when they tie the knot, when they get hitched, they should be completely surrounded by other paranormal people, because the energy, the well wishes, the good intentions, the pure heart that goes into, making that union, kind of solidifying that union around the two people. It feels like permanent. It feels like cement. It feels like we are all supposed to be doing this together, and I really do feel that way about both of you. And, yes, Heather, I know you better than I know Chad, but I feel like by proxy, I know him as well as you, just because you share so much of that same energy that you both bring. And to see you communicate the way that you do, that's why the whole event in Pontiac seemed so flawless. And so it's because you had it. I mean, you had it because your communication, which I think is the most important thing between two people. No, I can't think of anything else. Once you've got your foundation of love, that's great. But if you can't communicate properly,
right,
then there's a disconnect that will inevitably deteriorate over time, deteriorate the relationship. And I don't think that either of you have to worry about that. So in advance, let me wish you a happy Valentine's Day, since that's coming around. Although I like to think of Valentine's Day as every day. I mean, you have what I've always wanted and never found.
Well, I thank the stars every day that he chose me and let me love him, and that he loves me back.
Don't let her fool you. She chose me, and I just accepted it because I was lonely, and she's fantastic, and I couldn't ask for a better person. I fell into it. She knew before I did.
Mm-hmm.
You fell into a trap.
It's not a trap.
Okay.
A trap when I come along.
You tell those brats that are giving you a hard time that I would like to see them on the screen.
Oh,
how many?
How many? American.
I guess I have to now. Oh no, I'm gonna be famous.
This is my daughter Ivy. Put your face
Ivy.
in.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I am good.
You are good. You're adorable. Oh my God, are you so cute?
Thank you.
I could pinch those cheeks.
Thank you so much.
I don't know where she gets them from.
I don't know. It's the apple did not fall far from the tree. I can tell you that.
We're very similar.
That's great. Oh yeah. I mean, I can only handle one dog. How you did 4 kids, I will never ever. I give my mother so much credit. 5 little girls, all hitting puberty at the same time, basically. Oh my God, bless her soul.
Yeah, my girls are 8 years apart. So I had my oldest is 25 right now, and my youngest is 17. And Chad had 4. They were only 5 years apart. So this one is the youngest in between our three blended families. She's the youngest of 12 kids.
Hello.
Wow. Wow. That's great. And so should be spoiled rotten, right?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, so sorry.
They don't want to, but it kind of just happens.
It just kind of happens. Yeah. It kind of happens. Oh, you are precious. Absolutely
Thank you.
precious. Oh, now you know what? Are you excited about paranormal anything? I mean, is it something that you find fascinating, or
I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I've never been invited to one of their ghost hunts. Heather. But it's fine.
She loves her crystals, and
I do love crystals.
She adores
me too.
Exie.
I love Exie. Exie's an
Yes.
icon.
Yep.
Yes.
And Rhonda has helped her out a few times too. Rhonda Hart.
Yes.
I don't know if Ivy
Rhonda's
knows
precious.
What?
Rhonda has sent you plenty of Reiki over the years.
Wait, she
Yeah.
sent it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, you know, and Chris and Wes Carpenter. Oh my God, do they lay out a table of stones and crystals, and it's amazing. I mean, every time I go to an event where they're there, I just have to have somebody cover my table so that I can go hang out and shop and start. I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. I have a 10-foot long table in my kitchen in Florida that I don't think has a square foot of space left on it for the pyramids and the the big, huge crystals, and then the smaller ones, and everything in between. And oh my God, I'll have to send you some pictures of it. It's so beautiful. And owls everywhere. Owls. Can't help it. Just love them. They seem to find me. And when people give me gifts very often, they fall into that same, so I'm going to have to go back and get a bigger house. I'm pretty sure.
For all your crystals and all your owls.
And all of my owls. Yes, absolutely. So is our beautiful Ivy coming to Holy Toledo?
I mean, it sounds like I don't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
Well, then you should come, because I need to hug you, because you are precious.
You do.
Well, she will be there.
My mom is hyping up these hugs. I got to find out what they are.
Oh, yeah. It's mind meld energy exchange. It's proof that Spock had it right all along,
Yeah.
It really is. And then I can introduce you to the galactic family. And then don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're absolutely lovely. They love us more than we love each other. They do.
Okay.
And so, we'll play paranormal together, and I will get to squeeze those precious cheeks.
Thank you, Andrea, for including her.
Oh, she's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
It really is a big family affair. It really is. We are one big, huge, extended, loving family. And it's interesting because we're such an eclectic mix of people that come from the widest variety of backgrounds that you could even imagine. And yet it works.
Well, even just between us, right? Like, I'm a city girl. I was born and raised in Detroit, grew up mostly in Detroit. I mean, I lived in the suburbs a little bit, and he came from a small town just outside of Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
Lived on a dirt road. My yard backed up to a cornfield.
Sweet.
We drank out of the hose, and we rode bikes and climbed trees, and there was no pavement.
They tipped over cows too.
There's no cow tipping. There's no cow tipping. It hurts the cows. You got to be sweet to the cows.
I don't know. Did you ever really tip a cow over?
No, it's not possible to tip a cow.
Okay.
Oh, bye, Candace. We love you.
Oh, Candace Isaacson. Oh, my God. She was with us in Pontiac.
Yep.
Oh, she gave me the most beautiful, beautiful scarf that weekend. I remember every single tiny little detail of that weekend. Something really magical happened that weekend. I'm not sure what it was. It was magical. It was a love fest.
It
a
really
para
was.
love fest at that magnificent theater in that precious town. And I had never been to Pontiac before. I was so thrilled to be there. It was, it was very special.
You were? I was there too.
Yeah. Did I get to hug on you? Did we even get to meet each other?
I don't think so. I think I was in the back room.
Oh, could be.
Yeah.
Well, what was that, like 3 or 4 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
I mean,
2019.
COVID screwed up everything. It did. It just screwed up everything. You know, we're going to have to fix it. We're going to have to make up for lost time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. It's been, oh God, what a trial by fire it has been. You know, but it also, I mean, I know we keep coming back to it and people are like, oh, COVID again. Oh, they're talking about COVID again. But you know, it is important for us, particularly in the paranormal field. I don't think that what we do has ever been more relevant or more pertinent because, you know, 1.5 million people have died in this country from this disease so far. Now, in a country that's got 330 million people in it, that might not seem like such a huge number, but 1.5 million people have died from this disease. And the loved ones that got left behind that didn't, you know, the vast majority of which never got to have the closure that they want, weren't allowed in the hospital, weren't allowed to hold their loved one's hand as they perished. You know, we're lucky if they got to say goodbye to them over FaceTime. You know, have this vacancy, this huge hole ripped in them. And I find that there's an awful lot of people that have reached out to people like Chip Coffey, people like myself, people like Exie, that feel like this vacancy, this void has been ripped through them and a grief that they cannot reconcile. And all they want to know is if they can be on some level, in some way, in contact with the one they love who perished.
Yep, it all goes back to that connection.
That's right. And where do they come to find that comfort and solace? To the paranormal community.
Yep.
You know, and they might have been disbelievers their whole lives until they lost someone and they could not reconcile the loss, and it happened so fast and it happened in such isolation that it troubles them so deeply that they'll reach out to people in our field. And I have found that it's the reason why I became a minister, so that it felt like my calling. It's always felt like a calling to me, but I didn't actually do it until I felt that I had a very specific need to meet as a grief counselor. And I did that years and years, decades ago, when I worked in a private school, and it was a residential school for boys, troubled boys. And they chose me to be the grief counselor. I went through all the training and all the, you know, the psychological everything and the clinical work and, you know, all of that. And out of 300 employees, they chose me to be the grief counselor on that campus. Yeah. And, you know, all these years later, I finally said, you know, maybe I should listen to this. And it's been heartbreaking how many people, even within our own community, have lost loved ones. And this is the most significant time for our field of study to be at the forefront of a time where we feel like our lives are being ripped apart by a sudden shattering series of losses. You know, one of my dear friends and one of my producers, the first year of COVID, between Thanksgiving and New Year's, lost 16 members of his family.
Wow.
Because his father said, I don't believe in COVID. It's a hoax. And we're all getting together for Thanksgiving no matter what. And if you don't come, then I never want to see your face again. And my friend, his son, said, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm not coming. You know, my girlfriend and I are going to celebrate Thanksgiving quietly at home in the safety of our apartment. And his father's like, I'm done with you. You're dead to me. His father was dead in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And aunts, uncles, siblings. I mean, that 42 members of their family got together, spread COVID liberally amongst themselves at the table, and he lost half his family over the course of 4 or 5 weeks. They were all dead.
Wow.
Yeah. You know,
it's tragic. It really is tragic that this has happened. You know, I've lost people in my life that were just acquaintances. I didn't even know they were sick or dying until after they were gone.
Yeah.
And that's sad. And it's extra sad when it's somebody you know and love on a personal level. But at the same time, if you want to put a positive spin on it, not that people dying is ever positive, but when we had COVID, so many people were locked in their homes that more people were experiencing paranormal stuff in their house.
Yep.
Because when you were supposed to be at work and, you know, the spirits are active in your house and you didn't know it, now you're home and you're experiencing that. Now we have more believers or, you know, people with questions for our community because we were stuck inside for so long that now we have had experiences that they just blew off saying, oh, there's no such thing as that. It's the boogeyman. Oh, it's fake. Right. So, I mean, if anything positive has come out of all this death and loss is that maybe someone was able to make a connection with their loved ones that had passed while they're shut into their home.
Right.
You know, I would hope that's the case because they say the best opportunity to make a connection with a lost loved one happens within the first 10 days of their death. And Gary Galka, the guy that builds all the, you know, dowsing equipment, he builds the spirit boxes and all that. People in his home saw his deceased daughter in the home within the first 7 days of her death. And that's what prompted him to build all this equipment for ghost hunting. So hopefully some people who experienced a loss were able to connect with some of their loved ones after they'd passed because they weren't able to see them in the hospital because they couldn't say goodbye to them. And I would hope those people would reach out to their family from the other side of the veil to say, hey, I'm okay, you know? And I think as a paranormal investigator, that's always the positive side of a loss. It is. I've lost a son. I've lost my mother. I lost my stepmother. And, you know, it's something we have to endure as we get older. You know, people we know are going to die.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're open enough for them to be able to reach out to us.
Yes.
And us being accepting enough to see them, hear them, or feel them.
Well, interestingly, that's, you know, part of what I want to share and talk about at the Midwest Parafest. I feel like this is a really important time to kind of go down the rabbit hole with each other and let people know it's okay. It's okay. They're okay. They're still with us. We just, you know, we can't wrap our arms around them anymore. And there's something irreconcilable about that. So incredibly unfulfilling that, you know, we can't actually physically be in each other's presence anymore. But that doesn't mean that they're gone. I think it's interesting, Chad, that you talked about spirit making its presence known between 7 and 10 days. I think that the transition period, and none of us know, there are no experts in this field. There aren't. But to be able to make one's transition and then have enough energy to go back and kindly at least attempt to let your loved ones know that you're okay is like the final act of supreme kindness to try to comfort the ones that were left behind, because it's us being selfish and wanting them. I've had friends that have passed that were in terrible, terrible pain. And as much as I miss them, I was relieved when that pain was over. And I found that the connections made coming back, letting us know I'm fine, I'm good. This is, I'm really good here. This is fine. Is so comforting to those that happens to. Can you imagine? We're completely, utterly, totally surrounded by spirit all the time of our loved ones and our ancestors. And we live in a multidimensional universe where all of the dimensions are intermingled, and they're always just right there, just around the corner, peeking in. And none of us ever knew it. None of us ever had experiences of spirit, and we never knew that there is something beyond our mortal existence. And imagine living your whole life thinking that when you die, that is the end, that there's nothing about you that goes on, your consciousness or, what you gained in life in terms of your own experience and the growth of your own character and your own spiritual ascension. And that is what, all lost into the ether, into the vapor? No, it's not.
Yeah, there's no way.
Not.
I know people that believe once you die, the lights go out and you're worm dirt. There's nothing beyond that.
Right.
Even though guys like Tesla and Einstein said you cannot destroy energy.
Right.
And what some people call a soul or your being is energy, and it just changes forms.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's what us as paranormal investigators are seeking out.
Yeah. And I think
contact with that energy.
Yes, exactly. And that I think that, as we talked about earlier, that they're afraid we're telling the truth, and they don't want to believe it because on some fundamental level, it will fracture their own belief system. And so it's, no. And but that's not really the truth of their reality. And it doesn't matter whether they believe or not, because the people that need us find us,
right?
Gravitate to us.
Yeah.
We gather together, birds of a feather, and we will do so the weekend of April 1st and April 2nd. I'm so excited. We are out of time.
Thank you for
Tony,
having us.
Oh my God, Tony, please come back in. We'll say goodnight to Chad and to Heather, who do you know more like truly delightful human beings?
No, I mean, what a fantastic show too. The audience just loved it. I mean, you touched on such great points. So fantastic to meet both of you. Absolutely was.
And Ivy, let's not forget beautiful Ivy. Ivy, where are you going? Get back in the Ivy, you're on fire, honey. Somebody needs to put Ivy out. Oh my God. Okay. So thank you. Hang on the line because we're going to go off the air, but you can still be with us. So don't leave. Everybody else is leaving, but you don't leave, okay?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for having us.
Thank
you all. And, to all of our viewers around the world during these troubled times, may you always seek to be the light you seek. I love you all. Have a lovely evening. Good night.